Abram, also known as Abraham, was one of the first people to practice Judaism. Abraham was ordered by God to leave Ur and go to the land of Canaan.
So we obeyed God, leaving our homeland of Ur immediately.
Lot tagged along, too.
We took a lot of sheep.
Lot took a lot of pizza.
A lot.
We finally arrived in Canaan.
Well, life was good.
But still no children.
Then, famine hit.
Lot ate all the pizza.
What? There was cheese in the crust. Hey, you kids! So we decided to move again, this time to Egypt, to weather it out. And though we didn't have our own home,
and still did not have a child,
we were patient. It wasn't easy, but we waited for God's promise. And sure enough, Sarah gave birth to a baby boy. The baby God promised 15 years earlier. Isaac. The boy that would become the father of Israel, the nation that would bless the whole world, all the way through King David to Jesus.
At the time in Egypt, the Pharaoh was ordering people to kill all the Hebrew male babies. So Moses' mother sent him down the Nile River in a reed basket, where he was found by the Egyptian princess Thermuthis. Later Moses was in a desert when God spoke to him through a burning bush, telling him about the curses he was going to bring upon Egypt. The first curse was turning the whole Nile River into blood. The second curse was sending frogs to overrun Egypt. The third and fourth curse was plaguing the people with flies and the animal with lice. The fifth was to disease all the livestock, killing most of them. The sixth was incurable boils, and the seventh was a thunderstorm bringing hail. The eighth was sending locusts and grasshoppers all over Egypt, and the last plague was total darkness. This was when God ordered everyone in Egypt to paint their doors with sheep blood, or else the firstborn son would be killed. After the plagues, Moses parted the Red Sea with a staff. This was called the Exodus. Moses led the Hebrews to Mount Sinai, where God put the 10 Commandments onto stone tablets. Major Jewish holidays.
On the 1st, 2nd, 7th, and 8th days of Passover, you're not allowed to work. This year it starts on March 30th. It is also called Pashk, commemorating the Hebrews' freedom from slavery in Egypt, also known as the Exodus. Called Passover because the Hebrews were instructed to mark their doorways with blood of the lamb. When the Spirit of God saw it, he would pass over the house. They eat non-leavened bread on Passover.
Rosh Hashanah means head of the year, also known as the Jewish New Year. Most believe it commemorates the creation of the world or the universe. Others think it's about the creation of man.
Yom Kippur is celebrated by fasting and praying for 25 hours. This year it starts on September 18th. They spend all day confessing their sins to God against him and other people. The evening and night are set aside for public and private confessions of sins. A regular day has 3 services. Yom Kippur has 5 services.
Night 1.
This is how to light a menorah, night 1. So first, you light this candle. It's a lighting candle, and use it every night to light your candles. So I light this one, and then you light your first one. Then you recite a blessing, and play dreidel and eat.
Night 2.
This is night 2 of how to light a menorah. On the second night, you add 1 candle, and then relight the lighting candle, and light each one, starting with the newest candle, and then going to the oldest candle. Then recite your prayer, and eat.
Night 3.
This is night 3 of how to light a menorah. On night 3, you add the 3rd candle to the 3rd spot on the menorah, light the lighting candle, and then light them starting from the newest one and then going to the oldest one. Then recite your prayer and eat. And just continue this process until you get to the 8th.
Yeah.
Night 8.
This is night 8 and the last night of how to light a menorah. On the 8th night, you add the last candle to the last spot on the menorah, and then light the lighting candle, and light them from newest to the oldest candle. Recite your prayers and then eat. Okay, this is how to play dreidel, and we're going to be teaching how to play dreidel. So any number of people can take part in this event. You can have anywhere from 1 to 8 or 10. Each player begins with a number of pieces. We only have 6, but you can start off with 10 or 15 pieces per person. And then such as pennies, nuts, chocolates, raisins, matchsticks, or anything that just, yeah. At the beginning of each round, each participant puts in 1 game piece into the center pot. So there's 1 game piece. In addition, like every time the pot's empty or there's only 1 left, each player has to put another 1 in. So every time it's your turn, you spin the dreidel once. Whatever it lands on, you get that. So this one landed on hay. That means half. So I get half of what's left in the pot. So I get 1. There's 2. Now since there's only 1 left, well, you'll have to put in 1. But suppose I got something else like none, which is this one. I would get nothing. If I got Gimel or Gans in Yiddish, I'd get everything. And if I got Shin or Shtel in Yiddish, I'd have to pay or put in more. But if I didn't have any, you'd have to get some from another player. And you keep on going until there's no more game pieces in your hand anymore. That's it.
Hi, I'm here with Rabbi Shiv, and we're talking about Judaism. So, Rabbi Shiv, what are the 4 different types of Judaism?
Well, there are 4 different types: Orthodox, Reformed, Hasidic, and Conservative Jews. They all vary.
What exactly are the Orthodox Jews?
Well, they're stricter than most Jews, and they believe in a heaven, and they take the Torah to a literal meaning, and they're modest. They're mostly modest.
And they believe also that the Word of God can't be broken, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what are Reformed Jews?
They're a more modern type of Jews. They believe they serve God, and they are not as modest, but they still follow the Torah.
What are Hasidic Jews?
Hasidic Jews are a branch of Orthodox Jews that are mostly more mystical, and they began in the 1700s, and they take it to a more literal meaning, and they're also more strict and more modest.
Yeah, I understand that they're even stricter than Orthodox Jews,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Yeah. Okay,
in some aspects.
I'm gonna turn it over to Sarah now.
Okay, so starting off where Kaylee left, what are conservative Jews?
Conservative Jews are basically another branch of Orthodox Jews. They're like in between Reformed Jews and Orthodox Jews. They're kind of not extremely modest and not extremely strict, but they still believe in the Torah as it's written.
Okay, do they follow the rules close to the Torah, or do
they still do? Yes.
Okay. What was the covenant between the Hebrews and God?
It was a promise between God and Abraham. God promised that the Hebrews would be his promised people, and Abraham promised God his people would follow the 10 Commandments closely, and it's basically like a pact between the two of them.
Okay, thank you.
ותביטה זהב טהור מבעד מחוץ תצפנו ועשית עליו זרזהב סביב והצקת לו 4 טבעות זהב ונעתת על 4 פעמותיו ושתי טבעות על תלו האחד ושתי טבעות על תלו השני ועשית ודאי עצי שיטים ותביטה אותם זהב והבאת הבתים בטבעות על תלות אהרון ועשית אהרון בהם בטבעות אהרון יהיו הבדים לא יסורו ממנו ונתת אל אהרון את העדות אשר אתן אליו.
This is King Solomon's temple, which was destroyed in 586 BC, but it was rebuilt. This is also what a Jewish temple would look like. The Star of David is the symbol of Judaism. It is on the Israeli flag and is mentioned at the end of one of the Jewish blessings as the Shield of David. The tabernacle was a portable building that was a dwelling place for the divine presence, carried by the Israelites on the Exodus. The tallit is a wool shawl worn by men during the prayer services. The yarmulke is a skull cap worn by male Jews. The Torah is the sacred text, and the Talmud is a collection of prayers in the Torah. This is King Solomon's temple, which was destroyed in 586 BC, but was rebuilt. This is also what a Jewish temple would look like. The Star of David is the symbol of Judaism. It is on the Israeli flag and is mentioned at the end of one of the Jewish blessings as the Shield of David. The tabernacle was a portable building that was a dwelling place for the divine presence, carried by the Israelites on the Exodus. The tallit is a wool shawl worn by men during the prayer services. The yarmulke is a skull cap worn by male Jews. The Torah is a sacred text of Judaism, and the Talmud is a collection of prayers in the Torah.